The multi-million-dollar marketing effort behind DC Comics' Hollywood blockbuster movie Black Adam shined much of the spotlight on Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. But some critics are pointing to one obvious problem with the film. So stay tuned and don't go away, because Black Adam wastes its best asset, and Black Adam's mid-credit leak showed a lack of confidence in the movie. First up, what was the obvious problem with 2022's Black Adam? You're about to find out. Not surprisingly, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was super stoked to take on the role of anti-hero Black Adam, and his enthusiasm never faltered or wavered. However, some critics have pointed to the fact that the screenplay fails to properly utilize Johnson's talents. Black Adam had a lot going for it, but plastering Dwayne Johnson's face in every frame of the trailer footage may not have been the best strategy. Yes, the film is doing well at the box office, but critics and audiences are split on the film's quality. If we use social media as a success measuring tool for the film, it becomes clear that DC fans are more excited about the return of Henry Cavill than anything else, and that includes The Rock. Johnson obviously has the charisma to win over audiences, and he certainly has the physicality to dominate a scene. He reached movie star status several years ago, but people don't want to see him doing any sort of serious, dramatic work. What the people want to see is Johnson doing huge action blockbusters or big studio comedies. What do you think? Should Dwayne Johnson stick to big blockbuster action and comedy films, or would you like to see him in more dramatic roles? We'd love to know your thoughts, so drop those comments down below. Next up, why was The Rock so excited to play Black Adam? Let's take a look. Dwayne Johnson signed on to play Black Adam a number of years ago because he was extremely excited about having the rare opportunity of playing a villain, as he typically plays the hero. By the time the film came out, however, Black Adam had developed into an intense anti-hero. But now that all the hype has died down and the film has been released, people are starting to think that Black Adam doesn't feel like the role that was well suited for Dwayne Johnson. Black Adam is not a particularly charismatic character, and his villainous tendencies were part of what drew Johnson to the role. But that was sort of a double-edged sword, because it meant that the character would be much harder for The Rock to pull off. For instance, Teth Adam was introduced to DC Comics as a supervillain, but like a lot of popular antagonists, he's transitioned into an anti-hero role. Like many villains, he was created as the opposite of his rival. Billy Batson got the power that made him Shazam and used it to fight crime, the same way that Teth Adam got it through the kindness of his pure-hearted nephew, who he subsequently killed for wanting to fight for peace. Black Adam has mostly been portrayed as a violent tyrant, angry and sarcastic, and that's why, in the end, Johnson was not the best choice for the role. Up next, has Dwayne Johnson played villains in the past? Well, sort of. Johnson has portrayed villains in the past, not in film, but in the wrestling ring. His wrestling career saw him play the part of the heel on numerous occasions, and at times, he definitely had a villainous persona. He was a charismatic bully that fans loved to root for, and was regularly insulting his opponents and laughing at them. If the Black Adam film had gone in that direction, Black Adam would have been far more enjoyable to watch. Johnson's Black Adam, as portrayed in the film, was just too serious. Yes, Black Adam is an anti-hero, but not in the fun way, like Deadpool, for example. Given the financial success of 2022's Black Adam and the broader effort to breathe life into the DCEU, it's quite possible that we'll see The Rock play this role again. If Johnson does reprise the role, one of the positives will be that the character doesn't need to be introduced again, and they can just dive right in. Johnson needs the right role to shine, and despite his love and enthusiasm for Black Adam, it wasn't the best showcase for his talents. If a sequel film is in the works, hopefully writers will manage to turn Black Adam into a more likable character. If Black Adam is made more likable, it should be much easier for audiences to digest, and also enable Johnson's true talents to shine through. Stay tuned and don't go away, because we're taking a deep dive into 2022's Black Adam. Next up, did a mid-credits scene give fans major spoilers about Superman's future? You bet! Black Adam recently opened in theaters, but before audiences were able to watch the anti-hero on the big screen, the mid-credits scene from the film was leaked online and circulated across social media. Johnson has been vocal about his opinion on the recasting of Superman in the DCEU, and when Black Adam was first announced, fans hoped that Johnson would be able to bring Henry Cavill back as the Man of Steel. Warner Brothers was against the idea, but Johnson managed to bring Cavill back into the DCEU. In the DC comic books, Black Adam is the arch nemesis of Shazam and even goes up against Superman. There was always a possibility that either Shazam or Superman would make an appearance in Black Adam, but Warner Brothers denied that Cavill's tenure as Superman would continue. Johnson kept insisting that Cavill be brought back, and Warner Brothers finally relented. While promoting Black Adam, Johnson was repeatedly repeatedly asked about Cavill's return, and although Johnson never admitted to filming the mid-credits scene with Cavill, he always praised Cavill for his performance as Superman. Johnson always said, "Cavill embodies Superman, and he's our generation Superman." Thanks to Johnson, Cavill, and Superman, fans felt there was finally hope in getting the Man of Steel back on screen. Up next, will Warner Brothers finally restore the Snyderverse? We're about to find out. Fans of the DCEU have asked Warner Brothers to restore the Snyderverse, first initiated by Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice director Zack Snyder. When Zack was a part of the universe, Cavill was Superman, Ben Affleck was Batman, Gal Gadot was Wonder Woman, Jason Momoa was Aquaman, and Ezra Miller was The Flash. When the Black Adam mid-credit scene leaked, the media turned to Johnson for answers, and he had nothing left to hide. In his interviews following the leak, Johnson finally admitted to having brought Cavill back as Superman. All of this comes on the heels of massive changes at Warner Brothers and DC. The president of DC Films, Walter Hamada, quit after 15 years at Warner Brothers, and he was among the list of executives who were against Cavill's return. Johnson has publicly shared his vision for a Black Adam vs. Superman film, and he's proven that he can get fans what they want. Now that Cavill is back, Warner Brothers is considering a Man of Steel 2 film with him in the lead. Before the leaked video appeared on social media, the hype for Black Adam wasn't there. After confirmation that Cavill was going to be a part of the project, the film began trending on Twitter for days. Why? Because Superman is clearly a more popular, well-established character in the DCEU. Next up, did the studio bring Henry Cavill back to increase the hype surrounding the film? Absolutely! Dwayne Johnson is a huge name in Hollywood, but Cavill's Superman has been in high demand for the past 5 years. Black Adam opened in theaters and exceeded expectations. It opened with a whopping $67 million at the domestic box office and $140 million globally. Not too shabby. Yes, Fast and Furious films earned more, but Black Adam is the biggest opening weekend for any standalone film that Johnson has starred in. People are saying it was a career-changing film for Johnson, but many still raise the question of whether the same would have been possible had there been no confirmation of Cavill's presence in the film. Because of this, many fans are thinking that the mid-credits leak was a carefully crafted marketing gimmick by Warner Brothers. Black Adam's box office returns started strong, but have since seen diminishing returns. Black Adam's box office has highlighted some problems, with the film sitting at around $325 million worldwide across its total run so far. While it's not a total flop, other factors could prove that Johnson's box office draw power might be on the decline. When you compare Black Adam's financial numbers to Johnson's other movies, Black Adam's box office payday seems like a disappointment. Finally, has Black Panther: Wakanda Forever's opening weekend blown Black Adam out of the water? In its first weekend alone, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever has outsold Black Adam's total box office earnings. In fact, Black Panther's release will likely result in a steeper drop for Black Adam, meaning that Wakanda Forever is unlikely to climb much higher at the box office. For many observers, this is proof that Johnson's star power may be diminishing, despite his obvious charisma and the fact that he possesses leading man qualities and talent. What do you think? Is Black Adam's mediocre box office success proof that Dwayne Johnson's star power is dimming? We'd love to know your thoughts, so drop those comments down below. That's a wrap for today's video. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe.